Yo, Eve, make me a sandwich. What? That's why God made her, right? Have you read the first couple of chapters of the book of Genesis? It talks about the creation of the world. How in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. He filled the sky with stars and the sea with fish. He even filled the land with animals. So far so good, right? He then creates man. He forms him out of dust and breathes life into his nostrils. And then he says, "See all the pets I've made for you, go over there and name them." So Adam names them one by one, but soon God sees that he's bored or hungry or both. So God decides to make a helper for him. Someone who can cook, clean, do the laundry, and maybe when she's free, take the animals for a walk. So Adam can relax and have fun, right? For many of us, when we read about God creating Eve to be a helper fit for Adam, what's the first thing that comes to our mind? Is she inferior to Adam? Was she just created to help him like she is his maid or something? It's quite natural to read the text with our modern mindset. But is that what really God meant? Was that his plan for Adam and Eve all along? Or did he have something else in mind? To understand this, let's go back to the original verse. So, the passage we're talking about is Genesis 2 verse 18 to 22. The term helper is used twice in this passage. Some translations use the word helpmate or helpmeet instead of helper. Now, the Hebrew word used here for helper is ezer. It comes from the root word meaning help or to help with. Speaking of help, could you help us out by liking this video, subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos? Thanks for being a real ezer. Now, in the context of this passage, the word ezer doesn't mean help like house help or an assistant, but help as in partner or sustainer. Doesn't seem convincing enough, right? Well, that might be the case if this was the only time in the Bible that ezer is used in that way. However, when we look at the entire context of the Bible, we see many uses of the word in this way. In fact, the word appears a total of 21 times in the Old Testament. Out of this, the first 2 are used in this Genesis account. And another 3 are related to Israel asking for help from other powerful kingdoms. The remaining 16 uses of the word ezer all refer to God. For example, Deuteronomy 33 verse 29, which says, "Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord, the shield of your help and the sword of your triumph." Or Psalms 33:20, which says, "Our soul waits for the Lord, He is our help and shield." And again in Psalm 70 verse 5, which says, "But I am poor and needy, hasten to me, O God, thou art my help and my deliverer." Now, does it sound like God is just a man's PA or a servant? I mean, it makes God seem more like a bodyguard than a maid if you ask me. But the point here is that God never intended for women to be secondary to man in any way. They are equal in worth and dignity. How do we know this? God doesn't just create women out of the dust like he did for man. He took her from his ribs, not above his head, to rule over him, or from his feet to be lorded over him, but from his side, close to his heart, to love her and protect her. This interpretation makes sense when you look at what Adam says when he sees Eve for the very first time. He says, "This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man." Adam recognized that Eve is a part of him. She completes him. They were made for each other and need each other in order to fulfill God's plan for them. And so, being a suitable fit, they become one flesh. So no, Eve wasn't created so she could make Adam a sandwich. She was working with God to help Adam become who God created him to be. So, what do you think about this? Was Eve meant to be Adam's slave or his support? Did she ruin her reputation by eating that apple? Let us know what do you think in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, let us know by liking and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us a lot. Until next time.